We all wish we could bring our Disney vacation home with us, right? To have that Disney feeling every day? Well, why not start your day the Disney way with a Disney blend from Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company? With over 23 varieties to choose from the French bistro you find in your resort room to the Yachtsman's Steakhouse and Gico, of course, and now Joffrey's newest Disney blend, Le Cellier. Why not start your day with that Disney magic? Order yours today at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
For those of you who have joined us at the Polynesian Village Resort Hotel, aloha, and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World local monorail system. During the trip, we request that everyone please remain seated and that there please be no eating, drinking, or smoking. Thank you. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ResortLoop.com. I am Bob Collar, your host today, because Tim Scott didn't want to come with me to Walt Disney World. So, I don't know. Go figure. Why he doesn't want to do that, I don't know. Anyway, no, he couldn't make it this trip. This is part of our Looper Meet. I actually am at the studios of the very talented Disney master artist KevinJohn, and I just want to welcome him to the show. KevinJohn, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Bob. It's wonderful to have Looper Nation in the studio, actually. This is great. Yeah.
It's incredible to be in the studio. You've got a lot to tell us about. There's a lot going on with KevinJohn Studios now, and we're going to jump right into that. But first, we have got to talk about this incredible piece of art that you are working on right now that's going to be in the Art of Disney store, but not for long.
Right.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about
Thank you. Well, my next piece for Disney, the one that I'm literally is on the drawing board right now, is a Pirates of the Caribbean piece. Again, not Pirates of the Caribbean the movie, but Pirates of the Caribbean the attraction. All of my art is attraction based, and this one is that iconic. They call it the skeleton helmsman.
Right.
If you can imagine, you're on the attraction and here in Florida, and right before you go over the waterfall, you see this skeleton, mouth agape, holding his wreck of a ship against the storm for eternity.
Wind blowing.
Yeah, the wind blowing, the lightning, and the storm occurring in the background. And that is really what I'm capturing with this painting. The storm sky and the crashing waves against the rocks and the palm trees blowing in the wind, the lightning in the distance have all been painted in. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to go ahead and detail out the skeleton and the ship's wheel and some of the other elements that we're putting into the painting.
Well, I know I was looking at it, and the details in the rocks and the palm trees with the wind blowing through it, and the water crashing against it, like always, just incredible.
Thank you.
Reminds me of the incredible detail that you had in both the Hatbox Ghost and the Tower of Terror, the bellhop.
Thank you.
That thing was fantastic. But this isn't, like I said earlier, this isn't going to stay for very long at the Art of Disney store, is it?
No. We've been, I've been very blessed that the Disney fans have taken to the KevinJohn art. This is now, I'm in my 4th year already under this contract, creating art for Disney. And, the originals don't last very long now that kind of the brand, the KevinJohn brand, has attached itself now to the Disney brand. People are coming to know my art, coming to know who I am, and my 30-year heritage, with creating art. And my Tower of Terror piece lasted just a couple of days. It was hung in the Art of Disney gallery, and that original was sold within, I think, 48 hours. My last piece for Disney was the Enchanted Tiki Room, a piece called, what the heck was that called? Gee whiz. Tropical tropical, oh gosh, what did I call it? Tropical Getaway. It wasn't, it hung in the gallery for 15
Right.
minutes. And it was sold. And we're talking, these are $6,000 pieces of art. This is not a couple of $100.
Right.
So
right.
it's
these aren't the prints. These are the actual, I mean, the stuff that you have put paint to.
Right,
This
correct.
isn't a print, a copy of any sort.
Right.
So it went in 15 minutes.
Yeah, Tropical Hideaway. That's what
it was.
I
Yeah.
apologize. I had to shift my focus. I'm all pirates in my head right now. This one entitled Cursed, essentially, without the transaction being made, is sold already. So it's been spoken for. So it will probably be hung ceremoniously, maybe for a day or two, and then shipped off to the buyer. So, and you say, well, how does that happen? How does one know? Well, if you follow me on my Facebook, I constantly update with art that I'm creating for Disney and for other collectors and for my other clients. You can always watch this art being created here in my studio. So as soon as I started doing the concept sketches for this piece, people were wanting to buy the concept sketches, and then they were also asking about the original. And before I even put paint to paper on this, it was spoken for. So I'm thrilled with that, as you can imagine.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of art. I'm hoping to get a print of that. I have a little Florida room that I have that I like to hang some stuff in, and that would work perfectly in that.
Thank you.
You do a lot of stuff with water, I noticed. That's because of your background and where you came from.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm originally from Erie, Pennsylvania, so I grew up right on Lake Erie. You know, you could throw a stone from my neighborhood and hit the lake.
Right.
You just can't live there without being influenced by, the beach and everything. And of course, now that I'm living in Florida, the beach is, essentially my front yard.
Right.
I love the ocean, and it has influenced my my artistic expression so much. I really didn't expect it. This truly is paradise for me. As I say, I live where your I live where your screenshot or your what do you call
Desktop,
it? Wallpaper.
Yeah, wallpaper.
Your screen wallpaper is.
Yes.
That's kind of where I live in that environment. And
I can confirm that, by the way, everybody. It
really is. Every day that I step outside, I look around, and it's the next day is more beautiful than the last, and that does come out in the art quite a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got some questions, even though he's not here. We have some questions from my wonderful co-host, Tim Scott. He wants to know, at what point did you realize you were not only talented, but you wanted to make art a career?
The talent, I guess, when I realized that I please understand, I'm not trying to color this in a way that I think that I'm any more special than anyone else. But, the reality is that some of us are gifted to do things that other people can't at a little bit of a better rate. And so when I was in grade school, and you have art classes, and then, I was always compelled to draw, regardless whether that was in an art class or a math class, So, when I'm in grade school, I'm creating drawings, and, mine are better than, the other kids in the class.
Sure,
I realized then that I could do things that others couldn't for whatever reason. I've been, blessed with this. And so that's, I guess, when that realization came. But, there was a time, I guess, a moment when I was in high school, maybe right around my sophomore year, where I, was kind of influenced by my art teacher to, tell me that, this can become a career. There's many different applications for art in our modern world, not just fine art, but, there's graphic design. Back then it was, advertising. I thought that was the route that I was going to go. There's certainly animation, so many different applications over and above fine art. I knew that I wanted to use my talent in some regard to earn a living. At that point, I didn't know what it was, what direction I would take.
Yeah. And you started with a lot of original sketches up in Erie, the USS Niagara up there, just the beaches and lighthouses of Erie, Pennsylvania. And then you got a chance to do some work with, was it the NFL or the Major League Baseball?
The NFL was first.
Right.
The Erie art was, again, you start small and you expand from there. And there was a natural nostalgia there for the points of interest and the historical locations in my hometown. And I started producing fine art based on those locations and points of interest when I was still in high school. I was selling art to galleries, and they were moving the product out. From there, in the early 90s, then that slowly transitioned to creating sports art for pro athletes and the teams and the leagues by commission. It was not something, again, that I sought out. It kind of sought me out. The opportunity presented itself, meeting a couple of athletes. They found out that I was an artist, and they started asking if I could create images for them, of them playing sports.
That's awesome.
So that, that really ran for 20 years and still continues today. I just completed a Honus Wagner painting for Major League Baseball. Wow. So, that is still a component of my business. Yeah.
Right. Well, that leads to Tim's other question.
Yes.
He says, who is the more passionate art collector, Disney fans or sports fans?
Oh, hands down, Disney fans.
There you go.
Yeah, there's not a question. I think that, and it's because Disney is an art-based company. I mean, the entire company was formed by artists for people that love to consume visual art, depending on, and that could be in form of film or in form of song, in form of even visiting the parks. All of those elements that we walk through as visitors and fans of the Disney parks are pieces of three-dimensional art that have been created for us to live within.
Right.
And there is such an appreciation for artists, for Disney artists, by the Disney community, by the fans, unlike anything I've ever seen before. Sports fans really responded to my art well, but as I always say, I was always making a large group of fans angry.
Because, that is true.
If Tom Brady commissions me to create a painting, then there's 31 other fan bases that are pissed at me because I'm creating a portrait of Tom Brady or whomever.
Right.
I've never been called a name for painting Figment. I
would hope not.
Why didn't you? What, you son of a gun? Why did you paint Figment? Why didn't you paint Mickey Mouse? I've never had that experience. It's just all love, and
that's a good point. That's a real good point.
And I think there's some preconceived notions as to what an artist is. We are supposed to be all starving, ragged clothes, living in a box, peddling our wares at every craft fair and street corner and art festival, and then loading it up on the back of a, horse-drawn wagon or whatever, and carting it back to our, deplorable homes that we live in because we're poor and we can't afford to, and we
well,
should,
because suffering brings out the art,
right, and that's and oftentimes that's not it's not the it's the farthest from the truth, in a lot of cases. Again, just like with any other career, if you don't work hard at being a dentist, you're going to starve.
Right.
If you don't work hard at being an artist, you're going to starve. There has to be a level of talent, but there also has to be a level of hard work that goes along with that, and tenacity. And the Disney community is the first community that I've been involved with that respects us as artists in a way that I never have before. Very interesting, a story, kind of sports related. I was invited to a charity event to donate some original art to a charity event. And I donated some sports art that was to be auctioned off to benefit this charity. Now, I know what the pieces were going to auction for. They were going to auction for a couple thousand a piece. It was going to, looking at the other auction items that they had, they were going to bring more money than anything else that they had. It was, the charity, the event was kind of built around featuring those pieces of art. I just came back from Super Bowl, where ESPN featured me all week long creating artwork for them for Super Bowl.
Nice.
National stage. It was fantastic. So I come back home to Erie, Pennsylvania at the time, and I'm at this event, and they have me seated at this table. And everyone is all the couples are going around the table introducing themselves. Oh, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and this is my wife, and I'm Dr. So-and-so, and this is my wife. I'm Dr. So-and-so, this is my husband, and, they're kind of going around the table, and they come to me, and they say, oh, and what do you do? And I'm an artist. It was amazing how cold the table turned.
What?
My wife and I at the time were excluded from the conversations the rest of the evening until the MC introduced me and read my bio, and then that artwork was auctioned off. I then came back to the table, and these people could not be more warm and friendly all of a sudden when they found out who I was.
Right.
And I don't care what you do for a living. I always go out of my way to show the same level of respect for the young guy or gal that's bagging groceries for me at the Publix grocery store, or if he's about to operate on my knee. It doesn't. Everyone deserves the same amount of respect. So I guess what I'm saying is, we get that respect with the Disney community, and it's really a wonderful thing to finally be appreciated and not have those preconceived notions on what we're supposed to be labeled upon us as artists.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you talk about how the art has changed. I had the pleasure of meeting one of Disney's artists, and he was designing a headboard for the Wilderness Lodge, the new villas that are going over in the Wilderness Lodge, and the design of the artwork, it was ridiculous. The amount of work that he put in, and it was all done on a computer. There was no pencil to paper or anything. And you're right. The fact that Disney is all about art. It was all about, animation is art. The music is art. Everything is art. And I think all of the Disney fans truly do enjoy going to the parks because of the detail that is put into everything, from the food, which can be considered art, certainly, to to the rides. And then to see the art that you put out for these guys is just, it's incredible. It captures a moment of your Disney trip, like the piece that you signed for Tim, his Figment piece. It captures a moment that you can hold on to that trip or hold on to that memory for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. I'm glad that you're able to do that. Tim also wanted to know, what advice would you give to kids or young adults who have an artistic gift and want to pursue it as a career?
Well, that's a great question, and I get that question more than you can imagine, probably a couple of times a week. There's a couple things. First, the natural thing to say is draw
right.
as much as possible. Get a sketchbook, carry it wherever you go, and do not draw SpongeBob SquarePants. Do not draw anime creatures that have already. Don't copy other artists' work.
There you go.
What I want you to do is sit down with that sketchbook in front of you and look up. And I want you to draw the first thing that you see.
Whatever you see. There you go.
And you do that over and over and over again, and that's going to hone your skills. So that's the meat and potatoes. Okay, that's the ham and egg stuff that you got to do if you're going to even attempt to be successful. The other is, don't let anyone tell you that this is a hobby. Don't let anyone tell you that this is just something that everyone can do. And it's not special, and that it can't be a serious profession. And then finally is work. You have to work at this more than you've ever worked at anything in your life. It's not something that, at least in my experience. If you wait around and wait for a piece to speak to you and you're inspired to create something, you're going to be not creating enough art and enough consumable art, for people to purchase. I mean, you have to find what people will like to hang on their walls and then create it and get it out there. Don't be afraid to show it. Right. And it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time. You can't expect it to be a full-time gig if you're only putting in part-time hours.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. A lot of people say that about writers. I got writer's block. I don't know what to write. I'm waiting for the inspiration to come. And most great writers will say, you just start typing words.
Yeah.
And eventually it'll all come together and your thoughts will come out on the piece of paper.
Right.
The kids today, and I'm not picking on any kids today.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them at home myself. I know. Kids today, they want everything right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They want it all done right now. So if you're someone who is artistically inclined, don't think that you're going to knock out a piece of artwork like you do in an hour or 15 minutes. Like a lot of these kids want to just slap this stuff together, and then when it doesn't look perfect, they get upset, they get frustrated, they're done. How long does it take you typically to do a piece of
it's
art?
an average full scale original that, for instance, the quality of work that I put together for Disney, it's easily 100 to 150 hours in a piece like that. And that's from, concept sketch development all the way through the final piece.
Sure.
I'm living with the piece for months. And you cannot, expect to, turn. And I'm not saying everyone has to spend 100 hours on a piece of art, but your point is well placed in that 15 minutes isn't going to turn out a masterpiece. Longevity and patience is another thing I want to talk about in terms of finding a career with art. I've been doing this for 30 years professionally, and it has had gradual steps all along. I did not start this saying that I wanted to be a Disney artist,
Right.
It was not something that I pursued, first of all.
I'm sure you thought that you were going to be doing NFL art.
Oh, yeah, the sports art
that was going to be it.
Yeah, that was once I got down here, I started experimenting with what they call coastal or Florida art. I started doing some of that as well. But yeah, I really thought that the sports art was going to be my mainstay for the long haul. We had done such a great job of building that brand over 20 years.
Right.
Again, ESPN didn't call me on day one.
Right.
They called me 10 years into the thing after I had worked in building a brand and everything. And I get asked the question about Disney too. How do I become a Disney artist? Well, you know what? The bottom line is, there's only, I don't know what, less than 30 of us, in the world. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I worked 25 years on my brand and my portfolio before Disney contacted me and offered me this contract. Mm-hmm. It's patience, sacrifice,
hard work.
You're going to, and this is not only with art, but I don't care what kind of company you own or what type of business that you want to excel at. You're going to miss a lot and sacrifice a lot for the sake of that discipline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's got to be a commitment. I always said there's always some kid out there who's a better golfer than Tiger Woods. Well, not Tiger Woods now, because
sure, yeah, everyone's a better golfer than Tiger right now
anymore. But there's always somebody out there who's better than the LeBron James, who's better than. I don't want to say KevinJohn, but I'm just saying,
absolutely.
But they don't take the time. They don't take the effort. They don't put in the work to really make that happen for themselves.
Right.
Tiger Woods didn't become an incredible golfer by stepping out onto a golf course, and that just happened.
Right.
You took 25 years of hard work and honing your craft to get you where you are. LeBron James spends hours and hours and hours in the gym working on it.
Right.
You do have some talent. There's some talent in these kids that they just have to figure out what that talent is. And exploit it and hone it and practice it, and it'll happen for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't stress that enough. It won't. Of course, there are the cases where it will happen overnight. There are those overnight successes, but for the most part, that's just such a pipe dream,
Right. Yeah. Kids, I know my kids, they'll sit and they'll watch a movie, and like a Pixar movie, and they'll say, "Oh, that's really cool. How do they do that?" Well, it's in the coding. They do this animation and everything. Oh, I'm going to try that. They'll sit in front of a computer for 15 minutes, and because they don't knock out a Pixar movie in 15 minutes, they're like, this is too much work.
Yeah.
So not to pick on my kids, by the way. If you guys are they never listen anymore. So that's great advice. But first, do you know what you're going to work on after the pirate painting?
For Disney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you reveal it?
Yeah, I'm going to present. I have some concept sketches put together for a Jungle Cruise piece.
Okay.
Again, kind of staying in that Adventureland area that I love so much. I did the Tiki Room piece now, Pirates, and I'd like to visit Jungle Cruise next. And so those will be the next concept sketches I submit to Disney, probably right after the first of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys want that piece of art, you better buy it now.
Amen. Right.
Because it might not be there when it's done. You've got some other projects going on too.
Yeah.
What else do you have going on? This is incredible.
It's been a very, very exciting year here for us. For a long time, I have been wanting to diversify my company a little bit and find other ways for the fans to consume my art. I have collectors that have been collecting my art since I was 17 years old.
That's
30 years.
That's awesome.
And they're running out of wall space,
right?
And money. No, I'm just kidding. So I wanted to find ways that people that necessarily weren't desiring a piece of two-dimensional art to hang on their walls,
right?
But other ways that they can consume KevinJohn art and enjoy it with different products. So a couple of favorite things of mine. We have partnered with some wonderful companies to produce and essentially license out the art for consumable products. We do some scented art candles now with Oregon Candle Kitchen back in my hometown, Erie, Pennsylvania, where we have labels created for featuring different scenes. For instance, I'm looking at one right now called Cool Sand, and it's this beautiful painting that I did of a beach with a snow fence at sunset, and you can imagine that sand cooling after the sun had beat on it all day long, and the label goes on to a candle that is specially created for that artwork, and it smells like you've spent a day at the beach.
It smells incredible. Yeah.
And that we just introduced some Halloween candles with Halloween art. So there's KevinJohn candles that you can purchase to, burn in your home. And then, after the candle burns out, you've got, a wonderful little jar with this artwork on that you can, put things in or use as, put flowers, almost like a vase and things like that. It's, essentially it's collectible. The next thing, I'm so proud to have introduced KevinJohn Wine. We have formed the KevinJohn Wine Club, and eventually what it will become is a service where you purchase a membership, and then we ship you a new bottle of wine every month.
Nice.
And that each wine has a different art label. It's tied to the flavor and the style and the type of wine. My first was, of course, my love for Halloween. I wanted to introduce my first bottle of wine as a Halloween theme, and it's a beautiful painting of a witch. It's called Spellcast. And that became available a couple of weeks ago, and it's only available through October 31st this year. And then it goes into the cellar, as we say. My next bottle has just been released. It's the Spellcast is a California Cabernet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The next one, called Stranded, is a red wine blend, and it has a beautiful storm scene on the label. And then we'll be following that with a great white wine with my shark painting on that. And there will be more to come. Again, this is an ongoing product that we're going to offer all the time.
Right.
And then we are in development of KevinJohn coffee right now as well.
Wow.
So we're partnering with the Honduras Coffee Company. And it is what they call free trade organic coffee.
Okay.
And it is absolutely a slice of heaven. The wine is delicious. The candles smell amazing. The coffee is fantastic. And I'm just happy that my fans are able to, get this other good stuff and KevinJohn art along with it.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's a great way to get a piece of your artwork with and have something else with it.
Thank you.
But by the way, just to let everybody know, I did get to smell the candle. Still waiting on a glass of wine. I'm not seeing. Anyway, it is early, folks, by the way. But it's 5 o'clock somewhere. But KevinJohn, you are one of the absolute coolest Disney master artists around. I don't know too many of them that probably have a Tiki Bar in the studio.
That's right.
I'm not kidding you, folks. I'm looking at a Tiki Bar in the studio. Where can people find you? Because I know you're doing some stuff over at Trader Sam's every now and then. How often are you getting over there?
Well, that's kind of the best kept secret. Every time that I'm on Disney property, which I live about an hour and 15 minutes away from Disney. It's just enough distance that it doesn't become a distraction for me. And it's still, I could still go there and get away and have a little mini vacation or whatever. But every time that I go to Disney property, it seems that we always end up at Trader Sam's over at the Polynesian Village Resort.
Sure.
And those of you who might not know Trader Sam's, it's a fantastic little tiki bar at the Poly. And we go in, sit down. We always meet folks there and have a cocktail or two. And, of course, if you order a white pearl, I'm always willing to do a little drawing on the pearl and sign it for you. And those become little special souvenirs that you can take home. So,
absolutely.
So you can always look for me at Trader Sam's. If you would like to literally book a date, This is something that I just did one last night with a lovely couple, and I'm doing one this coming Friday evening. We offer what's called a Kevin John Meet and Dine, where you can book me to join you and your party for dinner somewhere on Disney property. You choose the location. And I come and I spend a couple hours with you. We talk art, we talk Disney, we talk about whatever you want, football.
That's awesome.
We have some fun, and you get an original concept sketch as a parting gift for that. Now, information about that is on KevinJohnStudio.com on how you can book that. And
we'll have links to that up. Yeah,
we love to do those. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Where else can people find you if they just want to contact you?
Sure. If you go to KevinJohn.com, Kevin-John.com, you hit there's the Facebook link right there. We're rebuilding the website, but you can still access it there. Hit me up on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I'm there all the time, and that's the best way to correspond with me, to watch the art, to watch what's going on. Wednesdays is Fan Reward Wednesdays. We do giveaways, we do sales, we do contests, and all kinds of fun stuff on Wednesdays. I am eternally grateful for the fans and collectors that I have around the world, and so we always try and do things to treat them, and that's the place to do it. So
absolutely. Yeah. And don't forget, folks, if you're at Disney and you pick up a piece of Kevin John art, the prints, and you want that signed, check out his website, his Facebook page. They'll tell you how to send that information or send that piece of art to Kevin John. He'll sign it. No cost, right?
Correct.
Other than shipping, you got to pay shipping back and forth. But you'll get a unique piece of art as well as signed by the Disney master artist himself.
Yeah, I love to do that. Absolutely.
So, that's wonderful. Kevin John, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for letting us venture into the studio. This is so cool.
You're more than welcome.
I love being able to see the art in progress in person.
Thank you.
And please make sure you follow him on Facebook so you can see the art in progress on Facebook. So.
Thank you so much.
Kevin John, thank you again. And as Tim says, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. See you, everybody. All right, Tim, so everybody has, they've stopped listening to the show now. What should they do after they're done listening to the show and they're all excited about wanting to go to a Disney park, going on a Disney vacation? What should they do?
I, personally, after being all excited and ready to go,
I'm
going to deal with an expert. I'm going to talk to People Mover Travel and talk to Tyler, our expert over there.
Over at PeopleMoverTravel.com?
PeopleMoverTravel.com.
But when you go there,
yes,
you got to make sure you click on that you heard about them from us.
From ResortLoop.
ResortLoop.
That is an option on the drop-down menu right there.
Absolutely. By the way, Tim.
Yes.
I just booked through them.
How did that go?
It was the easiest thing in the world.
How can it not be? It's Tyler.
I put in my name. I put in the dates I want.
Right.
Of course, check-marked Resort Loop is where I heard of them from. And sent it off to him. Within an hour, Tyler had gotten back to me. I can't guarantee he's going to get back to everybody that quick, but got back to me within an hour, letting me know he got it, and he'll let me know as soon as he runs the numbers.
Tyler and his team know travel.
PeopleMoverTravel.com is fantastic.
Love.
Easy. You and I have done it a million times on our own.
And we missed out on discounts here and there because we're not on top of it all the time.
I'm done doing that.
Why would we have to do it? Tyler at People Mover Travel will do it for you.